As the Battle of Berlin concluded in May 1945, the atrocities and war crimes committed by the Soviet Union against German citizens began to escalate. During this period, an estimated 130,000 women were victims of rape in Berlin, with 10,000 civilians dying directly from war crimes and many more committing suicide. The orders of Soviet Union leader Joseph Stalin, which stemmed from his ideologies, were immensely significant in instigating war crimes during the downfall of Berlin. However, other factors also contributed. The Red Army and Soviet officers were merciless, occasionally acting independently from orders, hoping to signify the end of the war with a decisive and forceful victory. Many soldiers took the approach of taking revenge on Germany, further instigating war crimes in Berlin. Stalin held extremist views, which greatly contributed to the orders that instigated some of the war crimes that occurred during the fall of Berlin. As Berlin fell, the number of German prisoners rapidly increased. The Soviet officers had some leeway when they decided upon a punishment for these prisoners. However, as noted by historian Franziska Exler, it was Stalin and the Politburo who set policies and often had the final say. Additionally, historian Anthony Beevor wrote that Stalin condoned the sexual violence as both a method of rewarding soldiers and terrorizing German citizens. He stated that people should understand it if a soldier who has crossed thousands of kilometers through blood and fire and death has some fun with a woman or takes some trifle. A Berlin woman noted in her diary, "Something strange is in the air, something evil and menacing," shortly before she was raped by Soviet soldiers. Her feeling about the Soviets was validated by Stalin's ruthless quote during the fall of Berlin: "In the German race, there is nothing but evil. As you storm onward, kill." Beevor also found documents about the sexual violence in Berlin and learnt that Stalin received them but made no attempt to prevent these war crimes. This suggests sexual violence was permitted and even supported by Stalin, explaining the mass rape that occurred in Berlin. Towards the end of the fall of Berlin, Stalin did suggest violence against citizens should not occur, but carelessly also stated, "It happens anyway." Despite Stalin's attitude towards war crimes improving slightly, he made no attempt to discourage or prevent them. Soviet officers wanted to convey to German civilians that the Third Reich was defeated, and were merciless in doing so, which contributed to the war crimes committed during the fall of Berlin. Acting independently to Stalin, Soviet staff officer Anatoly Mareshko stated that he felt the Battle of Berlin signified the end of the war, and therefore was prepared to inflict a defeat upon the Germans. Similarly, former Soviet soldier Mikhail Petrovich recalls one of his generals stating, "If it's war, then it's war." This attitude, displayed by a high-ranking Soviet military, demonstrates why the war crimes occurred to such an extent. The determination of Soviet officers to impose their victory upon German civilians partially contributed to the war crimes committed in Berlin. The desire of Soviet soldiers to take revenge on Germany led to the committing of widespread war crimes in Berlin. In her 2016 book, German historian Miriam Gabar debates that it is a myth that the Soviets were taking revenge and believes that they were simply acting as they pleased. However, many reports indicate that revenge was a motive for the war crimes in Berlin. During the Nazi invasion of the Soviet Union in Operation Barbarossa, it is widely recognized that German soldiers participated in war crimes that ranged from mass shootings to rape. It has been estimated that this operation resulted in up to 800,000 Soviet deaths. This reveals a motive for Soviet soldiers to exact revenge upon Germans. On the 3rd of May in 1945, the fighting had ceased and Soviets intensified their revenge. Many Soviet soldiers believed that German women were victory's prize, but the majority of the military saw the war crimes as revenge for the atrocious Nazi crimes that were committed during World War II. This contributed to German Heinrich Schneider commenting in his journal, "Many people claim that the Soviets' treatment of German civilians was no better than the Nazi treatment during World War II." It has also been well documented that the Red Army always had the intention to crown the transformation, end the war, and take revenge on its hated adversary. Many years after the fall of Berlin, it is believed, by inflicting hideous sexual assault and exacting their revenge, the soldiers helped seal the fate of the Soviet Union. It is evident that Stalin's orders were important in instigating the war crimes during the fall of Berlin. However, the attitude of Soviet officers and their aspiration to take revenge were also significant. Italy, Japan, and the UK are also alleged to have conducted war crimes in World War II and likely committed similar atrocities to the Soviet Union. Despite this, war crimes in Berlin occurred on a far larger scale, suggesting Stalin's role as the Soviet leader must have been significant.